Hey everyone, welcome to the Withering Effect, episode 102. Today's date is July 2nd, 2021, and I am Duds, or Duds Versus, known to the rest of the interwebs.
And I'm Jimbo. You may know me as Jimbo Slice 23. And for this episode 102, we have our digital producer, Carl, with us. Welcome to the show, Carl.
Woo, Carl.
Hello, everybody. It's been a while since you've heard from me, so it's good to be back on the show.
I won't do the golf clap because that'll get mistaken again as something bad.
Definitely.
If you guys want to know more about the golf clap, that was in our pre-show, which is a Patreon thing for $1 a month.
Yep.
I was just going to advertise the pre-show.
I beat you to it.
You beat me to it. Yes, we talk about Carl's likes for 117. Some good stuff.
Yeah. You see, they're only doing this shameless self-promotion because I'm on the show and they know I like it.
Yes.
Doing it for Carl. Get a pat on the back.
There you go.
Anyways, Carl, what have you been up to this week?
This week, I've not actually done that much Minecraft.
Blasphemy.
I know, right? I've been busy. I'm back at work now. But I have been setting up for our server livestream day that's on the 17th of July, where we're going to be doing some community projects. So I've been going around the server and looking at what needs doing from a community point of view, like tunnels and farms, community farms, and basically upgrading the server because we are now, close. Well, at the end of this year, we'll have 118 and we're going to be resetting and having a new world and everything.
We're on the home stretch.
We're way closer to the end than we are the beginning.
Exactly, definitely. And I think it's about time that we finished a few things, like the Nether Hub, like some of the tunnels, like made some new 117 farms in the community area, like a copper farm. And I've been writing these all up on a board in the Nether Hub.
Mm-hmm.
So when the stream day starts, people know what needs doing.
Yeah.
And I've asked the streamers, which you two are part of that, of course, to do some of these community projects because otherwise I can see them not getting done by the time we end. And, everyone likes to have a finished, Nether Hub at least.
Mm-hmm.
And things finished for when the world download goes up and stuff.
I believe me and you finished the Spawn Town area before the season ended last season.
We did. I remember me and you a few weeks before we were going to reset, chatting about pizza, I believe.
Yeah.
as we were doing that over at Spawn Town on season 2 there.
Late night.
It was a late night. It was like, by the time we'd finished, I think it was like 7 a.m. for me. By the time we'd finished that. And Jimbo's like, I've just got pizza. I'm like, I ate pizza at 7 a.m.
My preliminary attack for stream day is shopping district. I want to hide as much lighting as I can in as quick amount as time. I'm hoping some people will actually construct some roads, at least from their shop.
Yeah, onto the main walkways, yeah.
Even if the main walkway isn't there, just go out towards it and we'll connect everything.
Yeah.
What sucks for me is I think I'm leading off again. I think I'm going to get that.
You are?
Yeah, so I have to not set the bar, but start somewhere. So I don't know where to start. So
I can imagine you going into the Nether Hub and going, so what we doing?
I got a lot of glass to place.
Yeah, it's like, just go to my base. That's a community project, right?
Well, also the Withering Effect tunnel needs work.
Yes, it does. I haven't put that on because it's sort of our responsibility.
Yeah.
If Jimbo wants to work on that,
I can do that, yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool, definitely. But apart from that, over the last few weeks, I've been hunkering down at my base and getting a lot of work done because I know that my base is sort of behind everyone else's.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who's active, anyway. So I spent like an entire day just doing paths. Now that sounds like a long time, but you've got to remember that my paths are very intricate. They use 3 different types of black stone. They use coal blocks, they use concrete powder, wool, basalt, deep slate in them.
Show off.
Yeah, so it's all sort of mix and match together. So it's not like I'm just putting a path in. I've got to actually think about the pattern and stuff. So that took like a day to do that. I've also built up 3 houses on there as well, which have sort of my bed, obviously, and supplies in them, like pork chops and ender pearls and rockets in there as well. So I've always got access to them across the island. And I built up a little cactus farm and started on the smeltery. Now, my next episode will be actually doing the smelter itself and doing the inside of the building. But the building is up, and then I think I've only got 2 buildings left to go up, and then that'll be the main island. I say finished, but it's not going to be finished because I have an absolute ton of landscaping to do. I've got campfires to place with all the smoke. I've got the warped vines that stick up from the ground. I've got sea pickles to place. So there is a lot of landscaping to do on that island, and it's probably going to take weeks. So I want to get the buildings up and finished so I can concentrate on that.
That's on top of work and the podcast that you got to do. Yeah.
Yeah, this is why my episodes take so long, because not only have I got that to do, I've got to edit the show and do everything that goes with that, and I've got work.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff going on for Carl at the moment. Let's just put it that way. But who should we go to now?
Let's go to Jimbo.
Yeah, Jimbo, what have you done this week?
Me, I'll go. I just finished up my episodes Friday today. Usually I release them on Saturday, and I just got it done. I just need to upload it now.
Nice.
This will come out Wednesday, so it'll be out already. But yeah, got that finished. It's the 40th episode, and every 20 episodes, I go back and I find some funny clips through the previous 20 and kind of make like a little montage out of it. It's a good time. I like going back through, seeing all those different moments and stuff, and just watching previous episodes, not on my channel, but just on the recordings I have on the PC. But it should be good. Got a lot of good stuff on there.
Awesome, yeah. It's good to have a little recap now and again of what's gone on.
Yeah.
You can get so far into a season and kind of forget what you did.
Yep.
To a degree. So having those episodes there for people to go back and just check out, some highlights, really, really good idea. I like that a lot.
Yeah, a lot of times I'm like, man, that happened so long ago. Or it seemed like it happened so long ago.
You mean we don't have a Ripple recap?
No. We're not that big.
Well, the thing is, we did have one for about 3 weeks last season.
It was actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
I was impressed with it.
It was really good, but there was actually content for them to use, though, in the first couple of weeks. It gets, once we get into the season, it gets, we're not full-time Minecrafters, we're not full-time YouTubers, we're not full-time podcasters. So, we all have lives and things, and we're not Hermitcraft. We don't have all day, every day to record and put out content. So you can understand that it slips off after the first couple of weeks, because most people book off time off work for the launch of the server to make sure that they're on 24/7 and to get content out and stuff. But that's only, you can only do that for so long, so it's understandable.
Yeah.
Right. Besides the episode, I got my hands on a couple of things. I was able to get the replay mod.
Nice.
Yeah, I was able to sign up for the Patreon, and I've been using the replay mod. It works good. The only problem is I can't stop recording it. It automatically starts, and if you go into the settings, there's no settings for it yet. It even tells you it's not available for this version yet.
Yeah.
It's still just starting out. There's even a certain page where you can send bug fixes or bug reports. So it's kind of like that version of it. You're not getting the full version, but you can use it, and it works fine. Also got my hands on a new graphics card, the RTX 3060. And if you're asking how I got it, paid a little extra for it. It works great, works fine. But yeah, I had to pay one arm and one leg, so.
I'm not doing that.
That's about it for my week.
My week is kind of boring, but not really at the same time. So I put an episode out that honestly I wasn't happy with. It was an episode where I did not do a lot of building. It was we're gonna lay out the plan for the future of the base kind of episode. We had to get the foundation in before we could do any of that stuff. And honestly, the episode took a week and a half to make, which surprised me when I looked down and went, I didn't really build it. Like, I knew it when I was going to do the thumbnail, because I always take a picture of whatever I built that episode. And I went, wait a second. I didn't build a lot this episode.
Yeah. And then you were peer pressured into posting it.
Yeah, so I put a poll out on Twitter telling people, hey, this was not a building episode. This is a talking episode. And I was willing to scrap it unless Twitter voted it in. And there was like 90% of the votes were to post it, that they wanted a talky episode. So they got Dock Talk.
Nice.
We talked about the dock around the mountain and what the future of that's going to be. I literally have already built a pirate gate, as I'm calling it. I literally Googled pirate gate and saw this cool drawing that I'll mention and put the link in the video, and converted it to Minecraft and built it as my entrance to the mountain. The only problem is the mountain's still spawnable. So getting the random creeper walk up to the gate's kind of scary.
They be creeping.
Call it Creeper Gate.
Creepers be creeping. Yeah, I need to figure out a way, because last season I had a gate and it was functional. I could raise and lower it whenever I wanted. This, I just put a bunch of fences and fence gates in front of it for now. I'll have to come up with something better later. But yeah, other than that, I don't have the replay mod, so I had to dig up the old DuDs cam and get that working, which is on my backup computer, and that's kind of a hassle. It's nice in the fact that I don't have to worry about OBS freaking out on which capture to capture, but at the same time, I have to move files from one computer to the next computer. And OneDrive's actually helping me out a lot with that. So I have a time lapse from third person this next episode. You don't realize how much you use replay mod until it's gone.
Yeah.
So convenient.
I use it for the intros of my episode. So last episode, I was like, hang on, I don't have replay mod.
Yeah.
So I had to use the cinema camera in Minecraft and sort of like use my trackpad and sort of like sweep my finger like in a curve to kind of get the same kind of like zoom in that I do at the start of my episodes. So it's not as slick as replay mod.
Yeah. For me, in the time lapse, you'll see this. I'm so used to, I can just build. I don't have to worry about the camera angle. I'll get the camera angle in post. I just have to worry about building. And here, I start building and then I go behind a structure and continue building, but I forgot to move the camera. And I was just like, oh, I haven't moved a camera in a year and a half.
Yeah. You don't realize kind of how much of a hassle camera counts were before replay mod. You just don't understand until you have to go back to it and go, this is annoying.
Yeah. Well, I remember getting my first camera account and going, this is going to change the way I do videos. And then when replay mod come out, I go, this is stupid. It's really hard to learn. And now it's like, where's my replay mod?
Change is scary.
Yeah. I can't live without it. That's probably the best mod in Minecraft.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Especially if you're a content creator.
Yeah. Should we get into the news? We don't have a lot of it.
Yeah, real exciting news.
Yeah. So by the time this episode comes out, we should have 117.1 official release. Right now, they've got the release candidate up, and scrolling through a bunch of stuff, it's a lot of bug fixes. The big one being diamond ore distribution is changing. So it seems like that was a fix from pre-release 2. So keep an eye on that. Emerald ore is going to be generating differently again. So there's that. I think we have you can now breed to get the blue oxalotl, which is something you couldn't do before. I'm going through pre-release 3. Some oxalotl is despawning in certain spots. Oxalotl AI, where they keep wanting to leave the water, which is weird because I've got Tucker in my base right now. And he hadn't tried to leave that lake yet.
He's happy. That's why.
Yeah.
So what about the bug report I mentioned last week about we kind of figured it out. My squid weren't dropping glow ink. And I was like, that's a thing. Something's going on. I might have to put
not a thing.
I might have to put a bug tracker in or whatever. And then we figured out the mod on our server, the moderator, he was putting in the mob head drops for the glow ink and somehow mix it up to where it only dropped heads and not glow ink. So that day or two that it was messed up was the day I was doing this experiment and freaking out. So it's not a thing. It was, I don't know. I just happened to do it at that time, but it happened. It happened. It's not a bug though.
It wasn't Jimbo being insane. It was actually just an us thing, not a Minecraft
crazy
thing.
Yeah, crazy for other reasons.
Yeah
Well,
yeah, that's kind of it for the news. There wasn't a ton of stuff that we hadn't already covered.
Yep. You're looking for the release 117.1.
Minecraft Earth has gone.
That's true.
It's finished.
Minecraft Earth is gone.
That's how much there's no news. We have to mention
F's
that.
in the chat. Isn't that what they say? No.
Well, I think I predicted this when it came out, that it wasn't going to be a thing that caught on.
Yeah. I think it was sort of hampered, though, by COVID and the situation.
Yes, it definitely didn't help.
No one was going outside. It was a cool idea, but I just don't think it resonated with people. I think Minecraft is as popular as it is because of what it is, and to try and apply the brand, if you like, to a different game platform or a different game type can work. I don't know how good Minecraft Dungeons is. I don't know how good the sales are on that, but I'm happy that they try these things, but it's going to be very difficult for them to find something else that is as popular as the standard game is.
Right.
Well, and I think Mojang did step up, like when COVID hit or whatever. They opened the game up for, hey, you don't have to do traveling to get a lot of this stuff that we normally would do, which was good, and it helped the game probably last as long as it has. But I just don't see. I get there's going to be people who disagree with me, but mobile game to me isn't a good foundation. I know mobile gaming is huge in certain parts of the world, but foundation-wise, I don't see it as a good focus, especially like a company like Mojang or whatever. I was worried about Dungeons, but they hit Dungeons out of the ballpark. Dungeons is a great game, but at the same time, they were also doing Minecraft Earth, and its downfall was that was also the name of Minecon. Then they changed the name of Minecon 3 times.
Yeah. That got a bit confusing. What is this thing called? And then we had Minecon Festival, and then that got dropped because of COVID, and then it went back to Minecon Live, and it's like, I'm confused.
Yeah, so there was a lot of things that didn't help Earth, but I definitely think Mojang did all they could for it.
Oh, definitely.
When I saw it come out, I went, I don't think this is going to be as big as some people are thinking it was. It was probably a fun, I'm going to waste 20-30 minutes on my phone doing something, but we don't spend, like...
Yeah.
A normal Saturday for me, I'm on the server at least 5 hours, and I don't do that with my phone.
I think, like, when Minecraft Earth came out, I did download it, and I played with it for, like, maybe an hour, and I went, yeah, I'm going to go back on the ripple effect.
Yeah.
It was nice. It's got a good UI. It's got good features and everything. It just didn't do anything for me. It just wasn't a better experience than playing the main game.
And I'm sure for some people, they loved Earth more than they loved regular Minecraft.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's where the glow squid came from, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we got that. That lives on.
There is one thing Earth did better than anything, and it was come up with cool new mobs.
And I hope that some more of them end up in the vanilla game, because there was some cool ones in there.
They're stashing them. Get them in a big stash.
I expect at Minecon we're going to have another vote, and it's going to include some of the Earth mobs again, like it did last year. And yeah, we got the glow squid, and I put out a tweet from the Withering Effect's Twitter account going, "Goodbye Minecraft Earth, thanks for the glow squid." you know?
Yeah.
'Cause that's where it came from, and I think I talk for all three of us here that we love the glow squid. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It lives on. It lives on.
I got 16 of those bad boys. Glow squid.
Yeah.
Glow squid, if you
You're-
Jimbo has 16 Minecrafters.
16 Earths.
He's got 16 phones with 16 games on.
Yep. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump into listener comments. This is an email from Big Red Barn, and it's kind of a longer email, so be patient with me. Reading's not my forte, especially on the weekend. The email says, "Hello, DuDs and Jimbo." Hello.
Hi.
First of all, I would like to say that I love the podcast. I listened to it within 3 hours of when it releases. That's awesome.
Nice.
I was listening to episode 100, and your talk of mending versus infinity got me thinking. I thought that a quiver could improve mending bow, or could improve a mending bow, or mending on a bow. See what I'm talking about? Quiver could take up 1 inventory slot, and it could hold 6 stacks of arrows. There could be an enchantment that could add 4 stacks per level with a maximum of additional 12 stacks. That's a lot of arrows. A normal bow shoots 7.5 stacks before breaking, and with unbreaking 3, about 30 stacks. I think this would make mending more inviting, but because you still have to get arrows, you still have to get the arrows, infinity would still be a good option. Also, in episode 101, you guys mentioned how 118 might make Deep Slate more challenging to find. And I just want to say that 118 almost... I thought we were talking about Deep Slate was going to be even easier to find. Because I'm with you. With 118 comes, I'm not worried about Deep Slate. Deep Slate's a pain in 117 right now. Because we're on an old world. And that's the only reason it's a pain. It's because we're on an old world. If we were on a new world, we wouldn't have had that talk.
Yeah, everything's kind of a pain because we updated, but I think it was still the right decision because we all had stuff to finish.
Yeah.
Finding everything is a pain at the moment.
Yeah, I think we meant 117 when we were talking about it. We thought it was going to be more of a pain to find on 117, but really it's pretty abundant towards even, Y level 0 to Y14, I think it is, something like that. It's there. There's a bunch of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so don't worry about that. But the quiver, I really like the idea of that quiver, but I think it would make infinity bows useless.
Yeah.
Just because you can hold so many stacks of arrows. What makes infinity nice right now is that you don't have to hold but 1 inventory slot. And if you have 1 inventory slot holding almost the equivalent of what your bow can shoot, then you essentially have infinity and mending again. Which I don't know why we just don't put those two back together. I don't think separating them really had the effect that Mojang was thinking it was going to have.
No.
Makes a good discussion.
I agree with that. Like, why you can't have mending and infinity on a bow at the same time, especially we've got so many OP things in the game now.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't really anything out of the ordinary. Now, I disagree with everyone who says infinity is better.
Okay, so we're going to kick Carl off the show now.
What happened?
It's not getting edited. But that's only because I use spectral arrows.
But you can use spectral arrows with infinity.
You can, but then I can't mend my bow, so it's pointless. Because it doesn't add the infinity effect to the spectral arrows, so I might as well have the mending. There's no reason for me to have infinity at that point.
You people and using your bows so much they break. Pah.
Fancy spectral arrows. Ooh.
I need spectral arrows because I'm a terrible shot.
This being said, I went and I bought my bow from Decoy, who specifically made me a bow, and it was a mending bow.
There you go. You see?
But that's just because I want to use Carl's spectral arrows.
Who are you guys?
But yeah, I'd prefer infinity. Hey, no, I'm on the infinity bus.
Nah.
Okay, I just lost my infinity bow because I cannot add another bow to it to repair it. Like that's where I'm at. My infinity bow is like done. I made another one like in no time. I had an infinity book. What I do is I enchant a regular bow. I think I got unbreaking and power 4 a couple other books. I mean, this far in the season, these books are very accessible.
I was going to say, I think I have an Infinity Villager in my base.
Yeah, I had like 3 Infinity books sitting around, so I made one in no time. And that other one, like you said, I'm probably going to, put it up somewhere, frame it. My other one's like burned in lava or something, or I lost them, they despawned. But yeah, usually they last a lot longer. This one, I think when it was made at like the top level or whatever, because I wasn't able to repair it. It's too expensive. But now, it was just so much easier to get Infinity. I don't have any special arrows, though. Maybe they are that great. I don't know.
They are awesome. I'll leave a shulker box of them in your base to tempt you.
I mean, I still stand by what I said 5 minutes ago. I don't know why Infinity and Mending are separated.
Because they want to divide us.
It made sense at the beginning.
This makes a war.
And then this season is what really changed my mind. The fact that I had one bow last 8 months without breaking. It's like, there's no need for them to be separated anymore. My sword never breaks. I mean, most people are using axes nowadays because of the damage they produce. So the sword's really only good for sweeping edge.
Especially like Jimbo said, you can get an Infinity book so easily when you're this far into a world. Because villagers are OP. They just are.
Yeah.
And to put this arbitrary block on Infinity and Mending when the cost of getting an Infinity bow is so low.
Yeah.
That it doesn't really matter. It's like, it seems just like, a solution in search of a problem.
Yeah.
Because there is no issue with putting them together.
Well, especially when the repair price is 3 sticks and 3 string.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have another argument. You can enchant a bow and get Infinity. You can't get Mending from an enchantment.
Yeah.
I've gotten Infinity from an enchantment. Also, you hear the argument of people with Mending. If you have a skeleton farm, you have all the arrows you could ever need, so you might as well do Mending. But you also get all the bows you would never need too. They do drop bows in those farms, so you can always repair your Infinity in that case.
Well, here's my one variable to all these arguments, is that even if you have a farm, do you have the time to spend at the farm? Because that's where my arguments always come in. Do I have the time to AFK this farm? Because like most days, I only have an hour or so to play. Am I going to waste 20 of that sitting at a skeleton farm trying to repair my bow? Or get arrows for some combat I need to do?
Yeah,
True.
I'd rather have it for the bones.
Yeah.
Hey,
if you're just needing it for bone meal, I have an auto bone meal farm sitting in my base. I don't even have to do that.
Yeah.
And it produces other stuff on top of it.
True.
Let's face it. The zombie spawner is the new spawner farm.
Yeah, it's getting
Skeleton spawner used to be the end-all be-all best farm you can have over the game. Now it's the zombie one because you can convert that thing to drowned and you can get copper all day long on top of getting XP.
And in 117.1, it's going to be even better drops from that as well. So
higher rates.
A lot of people are building those farms now, and we're going to be doing one soon on the Ripple Effect, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those farms are going to be awesome.
The composter killed the skeleton. Let's just say it like that.
Yeah.
There's so many farms that make bone meal now, which is honestly, I love. That's awesome. Because bone meal is everything.
Yeah, especially like with the new moss and stuff in 117 that getting, taking one moss and making it into an entire field of moss is just bone meal, bone meal, bone meal. So it's definitely, a resource that just gets more and more and more important in the game as the updates go on. So
it is valuable.
Definitely. Any way you can, get bone meal now. I mean, every farm that I can get bone meal from, like my iron farm and that with the poppies, I've got a composter in there. It's going into my storage system. It's storage system in air quotes.
Yeah.
But yeah, all this bone meal is just brilliant, and the composter really did change the game on that. But this
I
was
think-
about a quiver, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we move on, one more thing. Does the zombie and the drown drop the same amount of XP? Are you getting more XP from the drown?
I would say it's the same.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's the same mob, just one's waterlogged.
Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, if you have zombie spawner, having it converted into a drowned farm is a lot more beneficial because of the copper.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just curious
Yeah.
if you also got more XP.
Yeah, it was a little bit useless when it was gold that they dropped.
Yeah.
Pigman farms are so OP on top of the Nether roof that it really didn't make sense to use, drowned or zombies converted to drowned to get gold. But now they've changed it to copper, it's suddenly become this hot commodity, and this everyone's after a spawner or a mob farm to get zombies, and then doing the whole reinforcement thing to get more of them and convert them into drown and getting the copper from them. That zombies and drown have become the big go-to now, and have definitely took over the crown, shall we say, from the skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Anyways, I like how Carl tried to bring us back to a quiver and started talking about zombies again.
I just can't help myself.
I derailed that. Totally derailed.
Anyways, to sum it up, I like the idea of a quiver, but the way it's implemented from Big Red Barn seems a bit OP. But being able to hold even just 3 stacks of arrows would make me choose a mending bow over infinity, just because it's very rare you're going to run out of arrows with 3 stacks in your inventory. And especially if those 3 stacks are only taking up 1 inventory slot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the quiver's taking up an inventory slot as well, so it's not like you're saving space. But if you're being able to carry more, you're saving space on arrows, yeah. But
yeah.
if you're able to carry, say, like you say, 3 stacks, I think the numbers Big Red Barn has here are a little bit on the high side, and if we bring those down a little bit, I can get on board with it, definitely. Yeah, and welcome you all to the mending side of the argument.
Well, let's just combine infinity and mending again, because let's face it, that's the way it should be.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyways, thank you for that, Big Red Barn. Over the next few weeks, we're running a listener survey where you can help shape the future of the show. Here's High Hopes with more information.
Hi everyone, I'm High Hopes. Over the next few weeks, the Withering Effect is running a listener survey to find out what you think of the show. Included are questions about our Discord. If you would like to share your experiences or have ideas for new features, you can help shape the future of the Discord by following the link in the show notes. The survey will close at 10 p.m. BST on Saturday, the 24th of July, 2021. So don't delay and get involved today.
Thanks for that, High Hopes. Remember to get involved with the survey and give us your feedback on the show. Wait.
Do you want me to read it for you?
Dude, seriously? This...
Do you want me to read it for you?
Go ahead.
Thanks for that, High Hopes. Remember to get involved with the survey and give us your feedback on the show, our Patreon, and the Discord.
There we go.
I'll just do that every week.
Yeah. Forget me and Jimbo reading scripts now.
I'll just read all the scripts and just pop them in editing.
But speaking of the Discord, it's the only place you can get involved in our Mending Minecraft vote. This week we asked you to choose between one of 3 biomes for us to discuss and improve.
And the winner. Wait, you didn't. Did you say the ones? The choices?
Oh, no.
The choices, yeah.
End Highlands, Frozen River, and Dark Forest.
And the winner of Mending Minecraft this week is... End Highlands.
Yep.
Nice.
I didn't know it was a thing until I saw it on there.
It's not really.
The End Highlands had 25 votes, Frozen River with 23 votes, and Dark Forest with 8.
Yes. And for everyone saying those vote counts are wrong, we're recording on Friday, so the vote ended today.
Yeah, like
even though normally it ends Sunday.
a couple hours ago.
So
yeah, we had to do these notes and mend this sucker 2 hours ago. So
yeah. Again, we're all at work. So I literally came home, grabbed something to eat, and said, "Hey, let's jump in a call and start the podcast."
Yeah.
And I have work the next 2 days. So
Yeah.
So I only have a couple things here on the End Highlands. It's really not much there. This biome generates as part of the outer islands of the End, forming the hilltops of each island. This is the only biome where chorus fruit naturally generates. End cities also generate here. End Highlands have the same mob spawning chances as the End. I messed up those words. That's it.
Reading's hard.
Yeah, that's all I had to say too.
No, and improving the End Highlands without taking it to an extreme is extremely hard, because you listen to Mojang and they're like, we want the End to stay barren. We were talking about this in the pre-show, and you don't want to put too much into it.
yeah.
Because then you take away from that. And of course, Carl comes up with the simple thing: just netherify it. Do exactly what you did in the nether in the end.
But on a less scale though.
Yeah.
I want to see a variant of the piglin or a new endling or whatever you want to call it.
I have an idea for that.
Awesome.
And it's cute.
Awesome. And them to have little houses and things like that, and a little bit of garden so we can get some wood maybe in different colours, kind of wacky colours, and some shrubs and things like that. But to keep it sort of as barren as it is now, but kind of add these little sort of like mini communities, sort of like villages, but on a smaller scale, maybe 4 houses, little houses in an area near to an end city, maybe.
It would be a great way to like signal, hey, there's an end city nearby. Yeah,
you're coming up to an end city. It's within, say, 200 blocks or 300 blocks or whatever.
Yeah.
But you've like you were saying, you've really got to be careful here that you don't overdo it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had something else on my notes, which was a sort of, like we have water and we have lava. Well, if we had a black liquid that is like a harming potion, so you can actually scoop it up into bottles and do it from there.
What if it was sticky?
There you go.
So if you turned it into a splash potion and you threw it at a mob, the mob couldn't move.
Yeah, so it's like slime, but like real life slime, where it's like all around you and sticking to you and sticking you to the ground. Yeah, I think that like lakes of that in these highlands wouldn't overdo it, because it's black, because it's dark. It fits the kind of void atmosphere of the End.
Or purple.
Or purple. Like you said, you've really got to be careful, because you can ruin the End by doing too much to it.
Yes.
I bet that's why they haven't done another End update yet, because, like Corey was saying on episode 100, that they think about these things so hard that they don't want to invalidate old features or make new features in the future not doable.
Right.
And they want to make sure that the balance is there. And I think the End is one of those places where getting that balance is going to be extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the End really opens the door up for like exotic mobs. There's, like you're saying, pigmen or, little houses. I'm thinking something else. Like, this is the End. This is the dimension that no one's been before. So you could actually add things that you've never seen before. You can make them real exotic. You can make them, like, the housing is a lot different. Like, you have the End cities. No one's seen anything like that before. I love that. The shulkers, that's completely different. That's an exotic mob. I believe it really opens the door up for something like that. The lake thing, the river thing, love that idea.
Yeah, I think that would be so cool to have.
Could you imagine falling in one of those things and not being able to swim out?
Yeah.
Just slowly sinking?
It's a bit like powdered snow in that respect, where it's sort of sucking you into it. I'm sure they'll come up with something you have to wear that you can just skate across it, because that's something they seem to like doing
Chainmail.
these days. Maybe.
Now everyone's got to wear chainmail.
Or maybe there's a new type of boot or a new type of helmet.
I was gonna say jet ski.
Jet ski. I mean,
Yeah.
And boat.
I'd be up for a jet ski.
Who wouldn't want a jet ski?
I know, right?
So, is it my go? You guys ready for this?
Go on.
We're ready.
All right. The easy stuff. I want end grass. I want some cool colored grass. We got that with the Nylium in the Nether.
Mm-hmm.
I want it in the end. I don't want purple grass though. Don't give me purple grass. We already have mycelium.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd sort of be between mycelium and crimson, wouldn't it? It's sort of
Yeah.
two in that kind of color spectrum.
Yeah, I'm talking. I want some like yellow grass.
Yeah,
A lot brighter than a path block.
I like it.
Yeah. Yellow's the opposite of purple, so that would actually fit really good.
Yeah.
It fit with the end stone as well. It'd fit
Yeah.
into the current
Mm-hmm.
makeup of the end. It would fit into that sort of really, really well.
I'd like a couple flowers and stuff. Just cosmetic stuff that really doesn't. We don't need a new wither rose or anything like that. Like that's. I'm fine with just a flower being a flower that you could only pick in the end. That'd be kind of cool. I love Carl's idea of miniature villages that kind of signify there's a end city nearby. That's great. And now it's time for my baby Yoda. My mob of choice for the end, tiny Endermen that carry shulkers with them. The thing that's special about the tiny Endermen is you can look them in the eye and not get them mad. And they carry the shulker around with them. So now you have a chance to get a shulker without going to an end city. But as soon as you strike the shulker, the baby Enderman gets mad because that's his friend. They're carrying each other around. The shulker will still shoot shulker shells at you like a normal shulker does. But
Just like an Ender Kid.
just a little tiny baby cute Enderman. Yeah, Ender Kid.
And a
Yeah.
kid.
Ender Kid carrying around a shulker.
I like that.
So that way, if you don't make it to an end city, you still have a chance to get shulker shells.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it.
That being said, they have kind of fixed it where now shulkers will duplicate each other, so you can farm them now.
Yeah, it's
You
pretty.
can.
You see those farms though? Whoo,
Yeah.
man!
Yeah.
And then you got to get a hold of them and transport them, which isn't easy either.
Mm-hmm. No.
Mm.
That's my thing. I think Ender Kids are the way to go in the end.
Yeah. There's a lot of good things you could do at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those ideas are really good that we've come up with.
Balancing the end's hard.
Yeah, it's pretty much a blank slate.
Yep. So we're getting a little bit low on time. Should we move into our main topic?
Yeah.
Do it.
So our main topic this week is us. Not really,
Us?
but the survey kind of showed that a lot of people don't necessarily understand how the show's made, and we thought this would be a cool idea to describe a day-by-day process that we go into, because it felt like a lot of the answers revolved around us recording, editing, and posting the show and everything we do for the show on one day. And it can't be further from the truth.
Yeah.
So I figured, like, technically our week starts on Thursday
Mm-hmm.
because the show gets uploaded on a Wednesday. So our first day of the week is a Thursday, and that's a Carl day where Carl's doing most of the work. And Carl, what do you end up doing on Thursdays?
Thursday is mainly about collecting analytics and mending Minecraft.
Mhm.
So we like to keep logs of how the show is doing week by week because our hosting provider doesn't give us that data over the weeks for each episode. So I like to collect it and mix it with the YouTube views and Spotify followers and Apple Podcast subscribers and things like that. So we can see the growth of the show, and we can see, whether people like that particular episode, whether it's there's a concept in digital content which is called evergreen, which is where content is valuable all the time. So you have episodes where they are very focused on a particular update or a particular pre-release, and those are very timely episodes. Where evergreen content is sort of like when you talk about what Minecraft will be like. We did an episode on this. What Minecraft will be like in 10 years' time. That's something that you can listen to anytime and it's still relevant. Up to 2030 anyway. But so we like to keep a look of that and keep all that information so we can see the growth. So I collect all that and I put it in a spreadsheet and we have all that information. I usually have this graphic pre-prepared on the Wednesday evening, but sometimes I do it on Thursday if I'm off work, which is mending Minecraft. So I'll tell DuDs and Jimbo what the options are, just because sometimes I get it wrong and we've actually done that before, and they can go, I think we've done that, and that can happen.
I'd say sometimes DuDs talks about one thing so much he thinks it's been on mending Minecraft.
At that point, it basically is like phantoms.
Yeah.
So the graphic will be put together. I will post that usually at about 5 p.m. UK time on the Discord and get the votes rolling in and everything like that. So that's basically Thursday for me. It's a lot of analytics and data and a lot of mending Minecraft.
We go into Friday. Friday is more of a lull day for us. It's kind of the one day off during the week. But that being said, one day off doesn't really mean one day off. Carl's usually working Fridays. Me and Jimbo are working during the day, and then afterwards we're into videos. Like Jimbo just said, he just wrapped a video that's going out tomorrow on Saturday.
Yeah, today's Friday, actually. We're recording, so that happens.
Yeah, now we're doing podcasts on Fridays and stuff.
Yeah. Usually, like, you won't see me on the server, and we'll get to this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So literally, like, Thursday evening, Friday, Saturday evening, Sunday evening after work is the only time I really get to play on the server because I've got a little bit of free time. So yeah, it's definitely a Minecraft kind of day, Friday.
Mm-hmm.
There is some things that happen on Fridays though. Like today, I posted a Twitter moment which has like all the episodes that we've had developers on from the past.
Yeah, I saw that.
Bringing them all together, so people can just click on that and go, oh, they've got King B Dogs, they've got Urof, they've got Kojo on there, and they can kind of listen to them all in one go. And that's you'll kind of see that Fridays are sort of either those kind of social media posts where I'm kind of bringing content together and re-promoting it, or you'll have like a highlight from an episode. But I've actually been, because obviously I have to do that when I'm editing as well, is find a highlight. But that highlight is now being put out on different days because I want to see how people react to it on different days and how the views are for it. So I've been kind of experimenting with that recently. Those used to be Fridays only, but it's kind of more free form now around other social media content.
Carl's totally highlighting himself this episode.
Oh yeah. Hey, you brought me on. This is what's going to happen.
Well, and we don't hide away from the fact Carl does most of the work, especially when it comes behind the scenes. He's got the bigger stuff to do. But this is the stuff Carl said he wanted to do.
Yeah, this is what I've done at uni. This is what I've trained to do. This is what I love doing.
You were born for it.
Exactly.
Well, I was not born to talk on a podcast. We'll just throw that out there.
Yeah.
Come Saturday. Saturday is a more fun day for like all of us, mainly because it's usually a live stream day. Especially for me, I stream every Saturday. But in the evening comes planning the podcast because we usually record Sundays. So Saturday evening, me and Jimbo will gather any kind of news and stuff we got through Mojang, any kind of tweets we saw. We'll write it up into a show. We've got a show notes page through a document that's, 5 pages long that we write notes and stuff in. We go through our listener comments, usually during the week, where, especially if you guys are leaving messages in the Discord, me and Jimbo have seen them, and we've made a note of, hey, that's going to be on the show. And we're going to be answering it and stuff like that. Carl will pull the emails and stuff because he has that email count or any YouTube comments that we get.
Yep. That's how we found out that the glow squid wasn't Jimbo being insane.
Yes.
Because Winter left a comment on our last episode on YouTube saying, yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
But Saturday and early Sunday is a bit. So the hardest part about doing this podcast is trying to come up with topics we think you guys would like us to talk about without constantly repeating ourselves over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Which, when you have slow news, like when Minecon happens, this is easy. Me and Jimbo are just spitting stuff out left and right because there's so much to talk about. But when the information for 1.17.1 is just a bunch of bug fixes and copper being bumped in its drop rate, we got to come up with something else to talk about. And we have to come up with something else to talk about 3 times because we have a pre-show, a post-show, and then this show.
Yeah, and we try to stay as relevant as possible. You know, what's going on right now, what's happening, is anyone tweeting something? Do we have a really good topic out on Twitter, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, sometimes it's just there's not much out there. Kind of got to put our heads together.
We try not to talk about things we don't know anything about. We often get the, hey, you guys should talk about this or that, and it's stuff me and Jimbo have no clue what to do with, and we don't want to be spreading bad information. So we generally try not to talk about that, or we go and get a guest who knows about that and bring the guest on the show, which we've done several times.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the stuff we get is talk more about Bedrock. Me and Jimbo don't play Bedrock, but we go out and we get Groove a Guy, we get Prowl, and stuff like we get Bedrock players on every once in a while.
Yeah, and like we get a lot on the survey that have more guests, have these people. And I hear you. I'm in charge of booking guests, and we try and get the people who you've named, and it's extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes we book guests 3 months in advance because that's what we need to do. These are busy people. You know, we sometimes have to come back to them 2 or 3 times to get a date together.
Yeah.
The guests are very good with us, that they will give us their time to come and be on the show. But to have guests on a more regular basis is just not possible, because the work that goes into getting those guests and then filtering through questions and getting a recording session that works for everyone set up, and the editing of those episodes is also more difficult because there's 3 audio tracks rather than 2. So everything becomes, I'd say, 5%, 10% more complicated when there's a guest. But I love having guests on the show. I'm not saying that they're a bad thing, because they're awesome. We've had such good guests on over the past 2 years now.
We definitely don't want you guys to stop recommending guests, because sometimes you guys recommend people we've never heard of. Yeah. It's just understand when we don't have a guest, it wasn't because we hadn't tried.
Yeah. I see a lot of hermits being named, and believe me,
we've tried.
Yes. We've tried.
I feel like we were spoiled already from the guests we got. You know?
We have so many great guests.
We were looking back when we got to around episode 100, we were chatting and just looking back at the names that we've had. I mean, this time last year we were on 25,000 listens or so, and now we're on 105,000 I last looked. And, you know, that kind of jump in listenership has been amazing. But these people were on at the time where we were very tiny as a podcast. And DuDs will probably say that we're still tiny.
Oh, yeah. We're microscopic compared to the rest of the podcast community.
But to have those people on and those names that we had. I'm not going to name everyone now. So, you know, I'm not singling people out, but Logic and Wells Night and all the developers that we've had on and people like that they've given us their time to come on the show, and they've given us such great answers to the questions, and I know you two have had such a great time talking to them as well.
Oh yeah.
When we have guests, it's awesome, but it's not something we can do as regularly as we would like to do, and as I'm sure the listeners would like as well.
to put it in perspective, Carl is our easiest guest to get on the show. And we literally had to jump through hoops to get this recording time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Like the easiest yet. We
That's
went
true.
back and forth on times and dates several times.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But let's get on to Sunday, because Sunday morning is generally our recording time. Me and Jimbo sit down. Granted, it's been flipping between Sunday mornings and Sunday evenings lately, because Jimbo's had commitments in the morning. So if you're a patron who does the $5 a month thing, you get to listen live. We try to remember to tell everyone beforehand whether it's going to be a night recording or a day recording. And that's when me and Jimbo go to work. I will say I don't want to go back and listen to the first podcast, because I think I would just cut my ears off with how poorly it was back then compared to now. But I think we've grown, and me and Jimbo definitely have a very good repertoire where we can bounce stuff back and forth on each other. Though there is always, it doesn't matter how well you know each other. Somebody could be pausing for half a second and you're like, should I talk now? Should I not talk now? Should I talk now?
Yeah.
Right.
Especially with the way the show is recorded, because obviously it's over Discord.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in front of someone, you can see from their facial expressions whether they're thinking or whether they've just stopped talking or whether they're about to say something more.
Right.
Where with Discord, there's latency, and obviously you can't see each other either.
Yeah.
So that makes it more sort of hard as well to kind of judge what is happening with the other person. So I think if it was in person in like a studio setting, that it would be easier to kind of read facial expressions and body language and stuff. But obviously with Discord, you don't have that.
Yeah. And what goes along with that, that's your great editing that helps, because you get rid of a lot of those awkward silences we put in the show, just feeling each other out.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how much time is actually removed from these shows.
Oh, yeah.
We're always surprised.
Me and Jimbo will record an hour-and-a-half long episode, and then Carl posts it up and it's 54 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how?
There's that much sort of dead air in there, and that's no one's fault. It's just the way of how the internet works in terms of recording.
And motorcycles
And all sorts of things going on that get edited out. So, longer episodes is something that was brought up, but like Duds has just said, you can record for an hour and a half and it turns into 54 minutes. And I'm sure you wouldn't want to listen to the hour and a half version of that.
No. And when it comes to Sundays and recording days, the biggest work for me and Jimbo, basically since the Wells Night episode, has all been off mic, and that's fixing sound quality. Wells showed us, or told us really, how to get the most out of our sound without spending thousands of dollars on our budget. And I think if you go back and listen to pre-Wells Night episode to now, the sound quality has jumped through the roof. Carl's having to do less editing because me and Jimbo have upped our mic game, and that's always nice.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And the mics were not it's not like just going and buying a mic. It was months of work to get these things aligned correctly to sound good. And even you heard Jimbo last week, talk about how he's still tweaking some settings.
Yeah, on OBS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had to up your mic volume by 9 last week.
Jeez.
Jimbo, you quiet man.
He was super. I imported it and went, Jimbo, you quiet boy.
What had happened was, I moved all my stuff to this new office, and I think I might have messed with, just moving my audio box around might have
twisted the knob.
Yeah, so I was twisting them back, and I probably over twisted, if you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah.
He overdid it.
Yeah, I probably need to work on that. Maybe we can get together and try to figure that out or something.
But now we're on to Monday and Tuesday, which are essentially Carl days again, but are relatively the same thing, and that's editing, right? And preparing the show.
Yeah, so I used to do this, but I don't anymore. I used to edit in one go, I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah.
Because you need breaks. And so what I do now is I split it over Monday and Tuesday. So I will edit the pre and post show on Monday, and I'll add all the music in, and I'll upload it to Patreon, and I'll write what we call the copy, which is like the description of the show, and schedule it for the Wednesday. And then on the Tuesday, I'll edit the main show and write the copy and schedule it with Anchor and Patreon again. On Wednesday, I'll record the video version and upload that to YouTube and write all the social media posts, so and make the graphics. So I have graphics templates. So you'll see that like the episode number changes, and on YouTube the title of the episode is on the card that YouTube shows you, the thumbnail. So that all gets done on Wednesday. Sometimes writing Patreon goes into Wednesday as well if I've had something to do on Monday, like I've gone out or whatever. But I try to keep to that kind of schedule where I'm doing the Patreon stuff on Monday and the main show on Tuesday, and then it gets posted Wednesday with all the social media and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and then we'll clean the doc up. I'll take a copy of that, clean it up.
Change the scripts for next week.
Yeah, I'll change the scripts again so DuDs gets confused, because that's one of my favourite things to do.
Yeah. Well, we should also put out there, like, the way we record the show is everyone's recording their voices individually.
Yeah.
Usually we have a backup running that will record everyone as a whole. But generally that doesn't get broken out unless it's a big episode where we have a guest or something like that. We want to ensure backup. With just me, Jimbo, and Carl, we all know how everything works. It's not that big of a deal to worry about losing anything or anything like that. So we'll get there. So Carl has 3 files this week he now has to throw into a doc and work on.
Yeah, and also, you know, when I'm going through the episodes, obviously I'm adding music, so intro, outro music. I'm adding the Discord ads, which I have to also think in advance, because like for the survey, I had to get those Discord ads made 2 weeks in advance of the survey going out. So it's all those kind of logistical things as well.
Yeah.
You've got the drum roll for Mending Minecraft to put in there. That might not seem like a big thing, and it's not, but it's still taking...
Still something.
It's making space in the episode. It's bringing in an external file from a different, folder, and so it still takes a bit of time to do.
Yeah. It's hilarious to hear the milk level patrons when they listen to the show live for the first time. They're expecting the music and they're expecting none of that happens.
And you're like, that's the post-production thing, guys.
Yeah,
that's funny. But last week I also I couldn't help myself. But you mentioned about an echo on your voice when you went more random thoughts.
Yep.
And I added in the echo because I thought.
Oh, I didn't go back and listen to that. I'm gonna have to now.
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself when you mentioned it. I was like, well, it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it?
Yep. Now we have a fancy echo. So when you read our title,
you
gotta say it like there's an echo behind you.
Gotta echo it. Yeah. Apart from that, there might be a bleep that needs to go in there. Not usually on this show. It's usually the half stack that happens,
yes.
Which is a Patreon thing again. And when we had, I think it was King Big Dogs on, and he talked about the
release date.
Yes, of 116, that I added in a little creeper explosion over his answer, which wasn't the correct answer. I think we've said that before.
Yes.
Just so
we did not know the real answer.
No.
Yeah, we didn't want to get in trouble or anything.
Yeah.
By spilling the beans.
His fake answer had like a creeper explosion over it, and I like to do those little kind of comical things every now and then, and that adds a bit of time to things, but I think it really kind of like gives it that little bit of extra in that episode as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
All right, well, that kind of wraps up our week, and I don't want to go too much longer because we are over definitely time.
Yeah.
But before I have Jimbo read us out, I want to say a huge thank you to all of our patrons for supporting the show. Our milk level patrons are aubni, ChiefBigBear, Crock, DeadWalker, FragileRock, ohbeep, StoneFigure, and viperoustuna. If you too would like to get access to exclusive benefits and hours of extra content each month, please consider joining at patreon.com/The Withering Effect.
And if you like the show, you can share it with all of your friends and on social media. If you listen on Spotify, follow us, or if you listen on Apple Podcasts, leave us a nice review. Doing any of these really helps the show reach more listeners. If you'd like to get in contact with us, send an email to podcast@thewitheringeffect.com, tweet us, leave a voice message, or join our Discord where you can have a chat with everyone who works on the show and fellow listeners. I had to take a deep breath there. I didn't breathe there for a minute. All the links will be in the show notes.
This show has been brought to you by Jimbo and myself, but also our digital producer Carl. He helps make sure the show ends up where it should be. And the amazing music you hear in the intro and outro is created by the one and only Decoy. Everyone's social media info can be found down in the show notes. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for getting withered with us. You should probably go drink your milk now. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.